Hello friends, it's your favorite slacker Armstrong here from Ada Miniatures, and today we're gonna be working on this. I don't know, it looks like a Dodge to me, yeah? Or something, from the American muscle cars. Yeah, but of course this is minimum cost Monday, so we are just working on something that costs as little as possible. And because I haven't built any of the cars in a while, yeah, like my poor laptop, unfortunately it's still not fixed, yeah. I spent already 200 quid on getting it fixed, and yeah, I think that it was money well spent. Yeah, but what can we do? If anyone knows about Acre Predators, Helios 16, just randomly crashing for no reason, yeah, and how to fix it, give me a shout because I am baffled at this point. But yeah, let's just get these wheels. Oh, come on. This is just ridiculous. Removed. Yeah, because I don't like them. I don't like them and I don't want them in this car. So there you go. Done, done. And we're gonna just put this back together. I'm not really be doing anything about the interior because obviously I'm lazy and I'm not gonna be stripping the paint because that paint job is actually gorgeous. Yeah, even though I'm probably gonna repaint the entire thing. Yeah, but like I said, it's a gorgeous paint job. Yeah, that windows, black windows, that's illegal. Yeah, but we are in post-apocalypse or apocalypse, depending how you look at that. Yeah, so yeah, and there we go. That is a hover car now, but no, we're not gonna be doing a hover car. No, 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 no. We're gonna be Mad Maxing it to the max. So I basically completely abandoned the idea of frugality with the 3D parts today. I want to pack up as many 3D parts as I can because I decided that today is a freebie day. Yeah, so I have quite a lot of 3D parts just sitting there, but like I haven't built anything in a while, so I really want to make it kind of, interesting. And yeah, so we have double wheels in here, so they're gonna be sticking out of the chassis. And is there like, no, there isn't. On the other side, there was like a little bit of a flash that was a little bit weird, but nope, not on this side. So we are putting this in. Of course, this is gonna be still sitting very low over the ground. Yeah, and you can see in here, yeah, there is like a problem with the original paint job. Huh. Doesn't happen too often, even in the crappy toys. But that's, interesting at least. Okay, so we have the back wheels done, and then for the front wheels I actually found those ones. I haven't used them in ages. Yeah, they actually have like holes for the axle, but yeah, like if I cut out that entire axle thingy, it's probably gonna fit much better. Now where I have my clippers, there they are, and I have in here my thingy winny. Yeah, so my desk is still a massive disaster. Yeah, and not only my desk, my entire area here, because I am still transporting all of my Warhammer minis, transferring all of my Warhammer minis into like bins, magnetized bins, and with the collection that I have, it is difficult. Yeah, I have a couple of boxes full, but it's still not done, and it's probably gonna take me another week or two. Well, I first need to get enough bins, yeah, because I got so far I got 9, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be enough for the basic stuff that I have. Yeah, the Imperial Guard itself, yeah, and I'm not done with it. Like I still have the entire, 200 plus models of Penal Legion to build, yeah. So I already have Imperial Guard, only troopers, yeah, and that is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, yeah, which is a massive amount. Okay, so we have the wheels on, and look at that, it just looks freaking awesome, yeah, and it is very low sitting. Of course, it is wobbly because you never do that correctly. And what's next? We want to give it a big engine, even though there is a already raised scoop in here. I have this bit of a 3D print It's not perfect, yeah. Well, it is actually quite well printed, yeah. And I like after I finish with this, I actually have a job to do. The job is to clean out my 3D printer because I haven't used it in a 10 months, and I want to start using it again for, like, I'm running out of some interesting parts, so I'm gonna be looking at getting new parts for this. Now, window, I have of course this, and I love those meshes, so we're gonna get one of those. Let me just see if this one gonna be better. Oh, much better. Okay, so let's clean this up. Yeah, but I'm considering right now buying a new resin 3D printer, and after getting all of those tanks from AliExpress, from Temu, yeah. After getting all of those tanks from Temu, I'm actually considering buying MDF 3D printer, which I was always against because, resin is so much better. But with how those new resin, the MDF 3D printers work, I'm just, I'm actually interested, which shocking, yeah? Because how I always complain, oh, resin is so much better, so much more superior. It's not like I'm, a kind of elitist or something about the printers, but resin do actually come up with better details when it comes to all of the stuff that I want to print. Yeah, but like all of those big things, I like, first of all, they take ages to print on the resin printer, and if they fail in any way, shape, or form, you are basically hours of printing, in the bin, and you have to, the resin is not that cheap. Well, it's not very expensive per se, but you are in the back, yeah. So if I just get myself MDF 3D printer and just get it to print stuff to that quality that I'm actually getting from Temu, I wouldn't be complaining. It's a decent quality. It's not perfect, but who needs perfect when you can have adequate? Oh, let me get a drink. So yeah, this is my idea of doing some stuff. So we're gonna be armoring the back window as well. And that I love to put those little armors on. It just works so well for everything. And then we have the barrels. Yeah, barrels, I'm thinking they usually just sit way incorrectly. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna give them a little bit of a sanding on the back. Yeah, to make them flat. And then they should glue. Oh, so much better. That's what I'm getting for not being a 100% lazy builder. Yeah, I'm only 80% lazy builder right now. So there we go. We're gonna just give it a little bit of a super glue. And for those who are interested in my Penal Legion project progress, I do actually paint my heavy weapon platforms. I'm about 50-ish% through the paint job, so shocking, yeah, because you know how much I complain about painting. All right, so we need to put a weapon on. So I have this little cannon. I wanted to put something bigger, but then I decided against it. We're gonna mount it on the passenger side, so not 100% centered, because sometimes the center and full balance is kind of screwy with everything else. And I did pick up a lot of extra armoring, but I am just looking at this and I feel like if I put extra armor on that, it's just not gonna look good. Yeah, so as much as I would like to, I'm gonna skip it. Yeah, we're just gonna keep it as it is. So we have this lovely little bugger. And I'm just thinking, I could leave that paint on because, like I said, I like the decals on it. Yeah, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually paint over it. And I could go brutal style, kind of supernatural, because this would kind of fit into that, supernatural mold. If you ever watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but I'm thinking maybe something more light, maybe something more colorful. That Mega Cast Magenta is lovely. The Power Node Glow is awesome, and that little bit of pink as well. Interesting. Yeah, so let's just get it painted. Alright, so I have the car primed and it looks somewhat good. So now it's time to try to paint it. So I have this Power Node Glow. It is a cool looking paint. It is very pink, as you can see, and it is very translucent. So it's supposed to be only an effect for, like, working on your plasma weapons and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna try to do, because I was trying to do the what do you call it, Sakura based army for my Warhammer 40k, and that was one of the suggested colors for it. So I'm gonna be testing that entire color scheme here and see how it's gonna turn out. So I want to leave a little bit of the white in the centers of the panels if I can, and paint the rest in pink. This is a muscle car, so it should be muscular, and I am like, yeah, let's paint it pink. Oh, I'm gonna be honest, I don't have much of a control over airbrush, so this all might either look great or tragic. So I would like to leave a little bit of a white-ish color in the middle here. And, I was trying to do that on this panel, but obviously I failed miserably. All right, almost there. Alright, I don't think that I have as horrible control over my airbrush as I was thinking, because I don't even have two pink over fingers, which is surprising in this situation when I forgot to put my gloves on. Yeah, but as you can see, leaving those panels a little bit lighter, it actually gives them a lot of interesting color. Yeah, and in here we need to just tiny bit in the middle, not too much. Okay, so it isn't white, it is pink. Yeah, but it is different. There is shading in places, and I of course needed to screw up the front, because once I'm happy with something I must mess it up. So now I need to leave it for about 20 minutes to dry, because that Power Node glow is a very hard paint. So I'm gonna leave it, then I'm gonna come back with the black, we're gonna do the metallics and stuff like that. So I was trying to be fairly meticulous with the application of paint to don't mess up the application of the pink. So now we're just gonna go with the Beowulf blue for the windows. Okay, this brush is too big. Where is the other one? It just, I did spend so much time, trying to do it correctly, hoping not to mess it up. So I rather be very, oh, that's better. Very cautious with the application and try to avoid putting my fingers into freshly painted areas. Because that I am very capable of doing so. I would say that I am quite incapable of not doing so. That would be much more accurate statement. Yeah, but let's try to be more precise for once. All right. Okay, and now the top thing. I didn't paint it earlier, so the roof window have to be painted as well separately. Oh, I'm struggling. All right, okay, that doesn't look bad. Let's just add a little bit in the middle just to have this behave how it's supposed to be. Okay, now technically I should dry brush this, yeah, the rest of it. But I have a, what do you call it, polished silver ready in here. This is a speed paint again. So we're gonna be actually doing a very nice looking crispy metallic colors for the remainder pieces. It doesn't have to be exact as long as most of it is covered. And as you can see, I'm not really going into the crevices. I want to keep that black if possible in there. So yeah, this isn't a dry brush, this is a normal regular brush, or some people call it overbrush, or just applying of the proper layer color. Either or works. So overbrush technically is just if you are using a very wet dry brush. So yeah, in practice this is just applying of the layer. And now this one, yeah, I'm a little bit tired. It's a little bit late and my brain is just, I'm not as happy-go-lucky as I was when I was building. Although I'm still in a good mood because, my goodness, I did actually build much more than I built it in last couple of weeks. And it is always fun to, to build stuff. But I actually prefer building over painting, so it is my guilty pleasure. And now, I think that I'm gonna leave the bumpers in black. The only things that I think we need to finish would be the wheels with a little bit of the silver color, and of course I have to mess it up, because why Why would I not? And now we have those little spikes over here on the inside of this, and the other side, little spikes over here, and yeah. Okay, let's throw it on the spin table if I only gonna find it. And here we are, done and dusted. I gonna be absolutely honest. This is very first so bright car that I built. I know that I painted in pink before, but that was more of a pastel pink. So yeah, I'm actually very happy with how it turned out. Yeah, you guys tell me, what do you think about the paint job? Because okay, those windows not perfect, yeah, but you know, if I took them out, if I just painted blue using airbrush, they would look much better. Yeah, but other than that, I am actually quite happy with it. Maybe those little eagles on the barrels, I can paint them in a little bit of gold, but I did want to make a crisp car for a change. Yeah. So yeah, tell me what you think. You know, if you like this video, please rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, family, and whoever else want to watch it. And everyone have a great day and take care. Bye bye.